Welcome to the Harworth Brass Podcast. With your host, Pete.
Hello, welcome back to the Harworth Brass Podcast, the show where we celebrate brass players, banding stories, and the people behind the music. I'm your host, Pete, and today we're joined by someone who's taken a really interesting, inspiring path through the brass band world, from euphonium to baritone and now into trombone. We're really pleased to welcome Carolyne Dufley to the podcast. Carolyne, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. So, how did you first enter, how did music first enter your life? Were you from a musical family or did you find it yourself?
So I'm not from a musical family, but I am from a military family. So I at the age of 7, was sent to boarding school because my dad was quite high up in the military and my mum was a nurse within the military as well. So at the age of 7, I was thrown into boarding school, quite literally. And from there, I was trained in the cello and piano.
So completely different to brass?
Yeah, no brass instruments, probably until I joined the military in 1998. I was at a concert with school and I was basically talent scouted for my cello playing. So then I joined the military, went through basic training, 14.5 weeks, went off, did medical training, because that's the other aspect of being a musician in the military. You have to be a medic. And then I went to Nella Hall. When I got to Nella Hall, it was obviously a relatively new thing for me, the wide world, being in boarding school most of my life. And when I turned up, they basically said to me, right, you can't march with a cello or a piano, pick an instrument. And I didn't really know, so they just kind of threw a euphonium at me. So I learned that in the space of about 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks.
Very quick, man.
Yeah, I think it's very different in the military to civilian life. It was day in, day out. You woke up at 6 a.m. It was music all day till you went to bed at 8 o'clock at night. So it was in and out of classes. You had a dedicated brass tutor.
So very full on.
Very full on, yeah, like anything in the military. And you had a dedicated teacher. I was doing 2, 3, 4 hours a day on the euphonium.
Yeah.
Along with other instruments and along with orchestral classes, concert classes and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I did that for about 7.5 years in the military and then kind of got bored, traveling around the world, playing in magnificent places, getting drunk, and then decided that I really wanted to do something different with my life in regards to being a musician in the military. So I retraded to a different trade, and then back end of 2009, I got injured quite significantly, and I ended up at Headley Court, which is the rehabilitation centre for injured veterans. I spent quite a significant amount of time down there, and then on discharge, because of my PTSD, which is combat related, they basically turned around and said to me I needed to find something to do to occupy my mind. And that's kind of when I fell into brass banding in 2017. But I actually didn't realise that I'd met members of the band prior to 2017.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier, didn't we? That you actually met, and everyone knows this anyway, but you met my mum and my sister.
Yeah.
I think, was it 2 years prior to you actually coming to the brass?
I think it was 2014. I was on a Paralympic training camp down in London with the City Volleyball teams, and your mum and your sister were on a hen do.
And I remember you saying they came because you had the dog.
Yeah, so I've got an assistant's dog for my PTSD. At that time, it was Kiko. I was in my wheelchair and Kiko was sat next to me, and your sister and your mum proceeded to probably pay more attention to my dog than it actually did to me. And then when we moved to the area, because obviously I was based down in Oxford, and when I was discharged, me and Charles decided that we were coming home, i.e. the north, because we're both from the north, and we'd spent the majority of our career down in the south. So we decided to come home to the north, and then Charles Googled brass bands, found Harworth, which was in 10-15 minute drive at that point from where we lived. And then emailed Claire, and Claire said, come along. And then it was only when I walked into the band room I realised who it actually was. And then I've kind of not looked back. Music has been a tremendous part of my recovery and helping with my PTSD, really.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to turn around, and you've answered them already, because I was going to say, how did you first come across brass band? And said, it's quite interesting that obviously you picked the euphonium because...
Didn't really pick it, it's kind of
forced, don't you?
Yeah.
So you kind of got, that's how you became play euphonium, and then obviously they said, oh, let's, brass band, because you were up here, and then you walked in, and Claire's conducted, and sort of 2.5 years prior. So it's quite a story, really, on,
I think...
I know like you said, we've said before, you don't believe in that kind of thing, but they said it's fate.
Yeah, I kind of don't believe in that sort of stuff, being brought up in a Roman Catholic school. But, like, it is interesting the way that it's come around, because, like, everybody's pathway into music is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine was through family.
Yeah, you're 7th generation, the first generation of my family to actually
Play brass.
play any musical instrument. My parents didn't, my grandparents didn't. So, and it is, it's something that I passed on to my children, like Lily's piano, Jamie's guitar, so that we pass the music back in.
Yeah. So obviously we know why you went on to euphonium. So what do you love most about the sound and the role of a euphonium in a brass band?
I think, like the previous podcast, we talked about Darren on the sop, that high note. The sop covers the high.
He sits on top.
He sits on top, but the euphonium carries that just below it. And I like I think I'm a very versatile euphonium player. I love being up in the rafters when we've got the parts that we're up there. But I really prefer being down at the bottom with the bellow notes, pushing out those bottom. Having, it's an acquired sound, I think, with the euphonium.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. And
when it's played right, it produces some beautiful tones. And I have dabbled with other instruments, but I've always come back to the euphonium. So, yeah, it's one of them instruments that...
Yeah, of course. So, obviously, with the euphonium, what was the biggest challenge when you were learning it? I mean, you've turned hands, you've got to learn it very quickly anyway, so... I think you had some...
Treble clef.
Treble clef.
So treble clef, because obviously I can read treble clef.
Not clarinet. What did you play?
Cello.
And nothing.
It's basically... But I played piano as well, and I understood treble clef to play as a pianist. But it's different for euphonium, because obviously back in the day when I started playing, we didn't have 4 valves. We only have 3 valves. So it was learning where you were in the scale to the fingering of a euphonium. So that for me was probably the hardest part to learn. And once I got it, I was off.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have a piece or solo that really made you fall in love with the euphonium?
Nessun Dorma. I played Nessun Dorma at Buckingham Palace for a state visit, a private function afterwards, and it was accompanied just by a pianist. And not to be big-headed, but once we finished, you could hear a pin drop. And that is the piece of music for me that always does it. When Claire pulls it out, I get envy because Warren gets to play it or Claire gets to play it. But Nessun Dorma for me is the piece, I think, for euphonium.
It is a beautiful piece. Yeah. You moved on to baritone towards the end of last year. So
yeah.
Obviously the band well know, but what led to that change?
So I had some time out because I needed to have surgeries. And in that time that I was away, Tony came to fort and he now sits second euphonium. So when I came back, it was just like, right, okay, we now have 3 euphonium players, but we don't have any baritone players.
Yeah,
so
we are. Corey'd
gone off to university. So it was kind of like, right, okay. And Claire kind of like sweet talked me in and said, right, do you fancy playing baritone? We've got too many euphonium players. But I still was going, so like if Tony wasn't available for a concert, it was easier for me to go back to euphonium and us find a depth for baritone. But I sat on baritone and I really, really enjoyed it. I think the thing for me with the baritone was I struggled with how small the instrument was in regards to the euphonium and breathing and like it's obviously sometimes it's a lot higher than euphonium. Because I had to go back to euphonium for a concert at Christmas and I'd not picked up my euphonium for like 6 months. And I picked this euphonium up. I'm like, actually, this is really, really heavy.
I was going to say, because one of my next questions was, what's the difference? What differences did you notice immediately between euphonium and baritone? Obviously, you just said those.
I also struggled because baritone doesn't have a fourth valve.
I was about to say, does it have a fourth valve?
And I play a lot of fourth valve, and I have got a trigger on on my euphonium as well, which I obviously so it was like remembering what everything was that didn't involve a fourth valve.
Yeah. Obviously, we've gone through. Did anything in baritone surprise you? Obviously, we've gone through that. How did the switch affect how you fit in the band then? Going up to that solo, because you played solo about it.
I did play solo. I don't think it really affected me. There were a couple of pieces that were...
It was more adapted.
I mean, it adapted, made me feel a little uncomfortable because I was more... What's the word? I was more... The emphasis was on me.
Yeah.
That part wasn't put in and it was missing and it was an intricate part.
It's more exposed.
Yeah, exactly. Exposed. Sacred Temple with the boys when they played that. It's a baritone part, which is... I don't understand the part in the piece, but it is a very exposed part, and it was that it in some ways made me vulnerable, and I don't like that element. I don't like being vulnerable, so it did bring an amount of vulnerability to it, but I really enjoyed playing it.
Fantastic. Do you think learning multiple brass instruments then has made you a better all-round player?
Yeah.
What's your favourite brass band piece to listen to?
Oh. Now you're asking. Probably easier to reel off what I don't like. If I have to pick one that we're playing for an up and coming concert, if I can, I tell you, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I really like, but that's because I've now transitioned to something else.
Yes, which we'll go on to.
But that part, particularly for me, is really, really I really like it. So yeah.
So with I'll probably my next one was going to say, what's your favourite piece to play? So it's probably going to be that one.
Yeah.
Cracking piece of music, and it is going to be in the Upwind concert in April, which is our night at Move It. So that's going to be a good concert. Do you prefer concerts or rehearsals? I know for me, I think rehearsals.
I think rehearsals, depending on who's there, because obviously when I sit euphonium, it's Warren, Tony, and me, and I think we've got a little nickname which is the Three Amigos because we're always causing trouble or cracking jokes between the section.
And even where you're sat now, you can still do that.
Well, to a point, but yeah.
What makes a great brass band, in your opinion?
What makes a great?
See, for me,
consistency.
Yeah. Say that's one of that one. Consistency
and are willing to learn, to get better, to want to get better. My injury sometimes does hold me back in regards to new pieces. I'm not able to sight read how I used to be able to sight read. So like we said earlier, I spend a lot of time away making playlists of the pieces of music that are up and coming so that I can sit and listen and learn and listen to the instrument that I need to know. So yeah, definitely willing to learn.
Definitely. Good one. And before we go on to our quick fire round, do you have any musical influences?
It's not brass band one though.
Doesn't matter.
Lang Lang.
Okay, there you go.
He's a superb pianist. But I think for me, it depends on what kind of mood I'm in, because music for me is about mood. That's what I was taught at Headley Court. The way that rehabilitation is that if I'm in a bad mood, you're probably going to get Def Leppard or, whatever. But if I'm in a good mood, it might be a completely different piece. So it's all dependent for me about what kind of mood I'm in. Depends what kind of piece of music I'm liking.
Yeah, I'm very much the same and stuff. If I have a bad day at work, if I think to myself, I want to just like sing.
Yeah.
I've got a playlist that I'll put on.
Charles,
Sing to.
yeah.
Or if it's a case and I just want to chill, I've got a sound trunks. So I've got jazz. It's very, it all depends on mood.
I do a lot of work with the mental health side of life with regards to Help for Heroes, and like Charles will know if I've had a really, not a bad day for me, but a difficult day with regards to other veterans that I've helped or assisted in the day. And he can tell purely and simply when I drive down the drive by the level of the radio.
Yeah.
So if it's on full blast, he knows I've had a really bad day and he'll just step away from me and leave me alone. Whereas if I come down the drive and like it's just normal, no level, he knows I've had a good day. But then what happens is I turn the car off and I forget that I've left it on full volume, and then he gets in and turns the car on and gets blasted with whatever it is. So yeah.
Fantastic. Right, quick fire round. So fast answers, no overthinking. Euphonium or baritone?
Euphonium.
Big loud band or soft and beautiful?
Half and half.
Okay. Warm up or straight into playing?
Straight to playing.
Favourite thing about band rehearsals?
The sense of family, because I've been missing that since the military.
Okay. Least favourite thing about band rehearsal?
Chatting.
I agree.
Winds me up.
Yes. Best thing about being in a brass band?
Sense of family again. Knowing that you've got someone on the doorstep. You need it.
Worst thing about being in a brass band? Very similar question. Probably chatting again.
Chatting in the band, it winds me up, chronic.
Would you rather drop your instrument or your mute?
Since the instrument I'm currently playing is not mine, my mute.
There you go. Scales or solos?
Solos.
Would you rather crack a note or miss an entry?
Crack a note.
Who in the band is always early?
So that would be me or Richard.
Yep. Who's always late?
Warren.
Who talks the most in rehearsals?
Honest.
You can choose a section as well if you want.
Euphoniums.
Okay. Tea break or coffee break?
Neither.
Neither, okay. Concert nerves, love them or hate them?
Okay.
Fantastic, so that's fine. So if you don't get nerves, you probably love them. Music on paper or learning by ear?
Learning by ear.
Yeah. Late night rehearsal snacks or post-rehearsal chips?
Post-rehearsal, because I eat before rehearsal. Everybody asks me why I do it, but...
No, that's absolutely fine. So, Carolyne, that's been brilliant hearing about how you found brass banding and how Euphonium, baritone, shaped your musical journey, and obviously the other instruments that you play. In part 2, we're going to jump into your move on to solo trombone, what inspired it and where you see yourself heading next. So don't go anywhere though, everybody. We will be right back with part 2 of the Harworth Brass Podcast. Welcome back to the Harworth Brass Podcast. I'm still here with Carolyne Dufley, and now we're moving into the newest and maybe the boldest chapter of her brass journey, the trombone. Carolyne, you've now taken on solo trombone. Let's talk about that. So what first attracted you to the trombone?
I don't think I was attracted to it. It was kind of thrust upon me, if I'll be honest.
We say at the moment you've only been on it for 2 weeks?
2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks.
And practising over the Christmas period as well?
Yeah, I've had one lesson. And obviously, I can't remember if in the first half we spoke about, I don't have a tendency to pick an instrument up to rehearse. I just generally look at the music and then find it on YouTube and wander around, listen through my headphones. Whereas I've actually physically had to pick the trombone up this time because obviously slides are significantly different to valves.
Yeah.
So yeah, in my hectic life that I have to fit a couple of hours in a day. I like to fit a couple of hours in a day, and I think, to be honest, not being big-headed, but I think I'm doing quite well for the amount of time that I've been sat in that position.
I mean, you basically took over from me.
Yeah.
Because I've gone back to what is my instrument, is
bass
trombone. And even on the first week, I was impressed.
Thanks.
I could hear you.
Yeah.
The notes there. The good thing about you is you've got the oomph, as we say.
Yeah.
For a trombone, you've definitely got that. It's just learning it now.
I think you need to have, because of the instrument, what if the instrument is a standout instrument? No instrument, I mean, like I say, it's a standout instrument. Every instrument within the band is significant because if you're missing one, you're missing a part. But when you've got a piece like, let's say, Backdraft or Iron Man, and you want a bit of oomph along with the basses, the trombones do provide that. So, and like I said, it is a significant instrument. You can take it to a jazz band, a concert band.
Big bands, orchestras,
yeah,
concert bands.
Yeah, I am enjoying playing it. Yeah.
How did it feel picking it up though? As it's obviously this is a slide instrument, and you're used to playing valves.
Weird. I think I've let the slide go a couple of times. Tim keeps looking at me and laughing because I'm trying to do it conspicuously and I've not managed it. Significant difference in regards to, like, obviously going from euphonium, quite heavy, to baritone being quite light, then back to euphonium at the beginning of Christmas, and then onto trombone. It is surprisingly light. I thought it would be heavier. But it's not actually. No.
Especially when it sits on your shoulder as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. What was the hardest thing for you then to adjust to with the trombone?
The slides, just the slide placements.
Just those 7 positions.
Well, I don't use 6 and 7 because I've got a trigger. Because apparently, according to Charles, my arms are not long enough.
Now, the good thing is the trigger there is kind of like having a 4th valve.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It means you don't have to go down to 6th or 7th. You can do it in 1st or 2nd with the trigger. Yeah.
So
it does help a lot. And there's lots of other notes as well. You can use it for cheats, and obviously we'll go.
Yeah, I've been like obviously I texted you through the week about I've been playing with things and speaking to Margaret, who's obviously second trombone. She's like, between the two of you, I've found what works for me, because everything works differently for every individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think a couple more months. I mean, I am confident, like you said, I've got the oomph, and I am confident within what I'm doing. It's just there are certain passages within the music that we're playing currently that are up to speed. I am not up to speed because I need to get the flow of the slide.
It is, but at the same time, you've picked it up quite quickly.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, and people already know, we've got our At the Movies concert coming up, but it's not till April. So we've got a good 3 months just over until that concert.
Yeah.
So I think the good thing is, personally, you've got a lot of time before that concert now to find yourself on that instrument.
I get that, but the military in me will not give me that 3 months. In a month and a half,
you want to do it quicker, yeah.
I will be at what I
want to be,
because I'll put that dedication and perseverance in, so that I can sit on solo trombone, because it is solo trombone.
It is solo trombone.
Significant part within the band, and I am quite honoured that it's not been, I'd say, bestowed on me, but kind of thrown in the hot seat. Yeah, I'll go play this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you most enjoy about the trombone compared to the euphonium?
The rips you can pull.
You can. I've always said, especially like
my dogs at home do not like riffs.
Yeah. It's like I said on bass trombone. You can play loud, but on a trombone, what makes it more powerful is playing loud but round.
Yeah.
And then also being able to play quiet. Dynamics is a big thing.
Yes, agreed. My as I said, I've got quite a few dogs at home, Malamutes, who are renowned for singing along. They do not like the trombone.
How did you feel? It's only been 2 weeks, and this is the third week now. But how did you feel the first time you sat on the solo trombone in band?
Apprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's other members within the band. Like Tim said, he's secretly been learning the trombone, and there's other members within the band who expressed, maybe I can try it. So apprehension. I don't do nerves. I've never done nerves.
But just apprehension.
Just apprehension of expectation.
Yeah.
As right, okay. I've always sat I sat second trombone, only ever covered solos if Warren wasn't available, and then I was thrust up into first baritone. Baritone's one of them that there are some lovely solos out there, but generally you don't get a solo within a piece of music, if that makes sense, unless it's a sectional solo.
Yeah. The good thing about the solo trombone, there is quite a few pieces that we do play. In fact, and again, I can say it because everyone knows we've got this concert coming up. In Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, you actually have a duet
with the
Warren.
euphoniums. Yeah.
No, just Warren, not the euphoniums, just Warren. It's one euphonium and you.
Yeah.
And you have to sync with each other.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I'm looking forward to that because it's the good part. It's a nice slow piece for you.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
No.
Some of it's not too high. So you should be quite all right.
I think, to be honest, me and Warren are quite similar in how we are. So syncness, I think the in sync bit will be there with me and Warren.
Yeah.
Because we've always got that from when we played together as euphonium.
Yes.
On the euphoniums, I think for me it'd just be a case of making sure that I've got the slide in the right positions. There's a few times in the last couple of weeks I thought it was in third, but I wasn't. It was in like 2 3/4 or 3.5 or whatever. So it, like you say, we've got 4 months. There's an array of pieces where the solo trombone is prominent and needs to be quite loud along with the rest of the trombone section. But I'm adamant that I'll make a go of it.
Absolutely. Now we've gone over what the role of being the solo trombone means to you. How do you approach the responsibility of leading the trombone section? Because technically, you're sat on that solo seat.
Yeah, I think for the first couple of months, maybe 6 months, I think in regards to leading the section, I don't think it'll be solely me that does it. I think I would look to you and Margaret for guidance. Because obviously
we're a team.
We're a team at the end of the day, and if I've looked through a lot of the parts because I've been going through music for these last couple of weeks, and obviously the second trombone sits, a piece. It'll be they're playing the exact same piece that I'm playing, but in a different note. And I think it'll just be guidance from you guys until I'm comfortable and know. And you guys can look at me and know, right, yeah, she's got it.
Yeah.
Because, solo trombone is solo trombonist.
It is.
As you know, when I send you random texts saying, can I have this out the library? Can I have that out the library? It's me doing my due diligence for future concerts. Because with my disability, I do struggle slightly with sight reading.
Yes, we said that on the part one.
We've talked about this in depth, about brain damage and stuff like that, and the effects that medication can have on you and stuff like that. So I like to see a piece before we get to a band room. I don't like being thrown in the deep end. So
you like being prepared.
I like being prepared.
Yeah.
Again, that's a military element of me. I like being prepared, and I like to turn up knowing that if I've got a problem, I can turn around and say, I've looked at this piece, I'm not too quite sure about this passage.
Yeah.
Can you talk it through with me? Then it doesn't disrupt the band while we're rehearsing.
Yes. Cool. So for you then, what kind of trombone sound are you going to be aiming for?
I think it'll depend on the piece.
Yeah. An all-round sound.
Loud.
Loud when needed, quiet when needed.
Yeah, loud and raspy. Loud and raspy. I don't know. I think your sound is developed over time once you become, as they say, one with the instrument.
Yes, exactly. So obviously you was on euphonium, then you was on baritone. How has switching instruments now changed? Because now you're down behind the euphoniums and the baritones. How has switching instruments changed how you listen to the band?
That's a good question, actually.
She's now obviously in a different seat, so you'll probably be hearing it slightly different from when you were on baritone. You had the euphoniums next year and the horns on the other side.
So when I was sat baritone, I struggled to pitch stuff because I was sat next to euphoniums and I knew what they were playing because it's stuff that we played over and over again.
Yeah, of course.
And I was struggling to pitch myself, but now I'm behind them and I'm obviously playing a completely different piece of music to them. I don't know how to answer the question because it is different.
It is.
But how it's different, I can't determine that.
To be fair, you've been there for 2 weeks.
But I do notice a significant difference in sounds coming from the band, I've actually been able to put my hearing aids back in because I've not sat behind you.
Well, that's a start.
That's a start. So I think that's a question for future, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's something that I can't answer now because I've only been there for a couple of weeks.
But maybe if we do another one of these next year
Yeah.
with you, we can have a
I'm
adjusting. Adjusting.
I'm adjusting to the instrument. I'm adjusting to having my hearing aids back in again. So I think it's a relevant question, and I think it's a good question. I don't think I can answer it right now.
No, that sounds good to me. We'll do that on hopefully next year then.
Alright folks, confession time. Our brass band is currently held together by sticky valve oil, borrowed music stands from the 90s, and a mute that's been glued back together twice. If you've ever thought, wow, these legends deserve a music stand that isn't held up by an old trombone slide, this is your moment to shine.
Exactly. You can be the unsung hero of the band room. How? By popping over to our website and buying us a coffee. Your support keeps us caffeinated enough to survive marathon rehearsals and helps us upgrade to things like actual sturdy stands. Maybe even a microphone that doesn't double as a spare lyre clip.
And the best bit, if you donate, you can send us audio clips. We'll play them right here on the podcast. Whether it's you cheering us on, roasting our dodgy tuning, or sending in the world's most dramatic cornet cadenza, we'll take it all, tasteful vibrato encouraged.
Not a talker? No problem. You can still leave us a comment or review. It helps spread the word and gives us that warm, fuzzy feeling you usually only get after nailing a top C on the first try.
So, support the band, support the podcast, and help us level up from ragtag rehearsal chaos to concert-ready chaos. The link's in the show notes. Buy us a coffee, send in your clips, and let's keep the music rolling. Preferably on a trolley that isn't held together with gaffer tape.
Some brass band couple of questions now. What's the best concert you've ever been part of? It doesn't have to be with Harworth.
I have to put my hands down and say it was the Edinburgh Tattoo.
Okay, there you go.
Edinburgh Tattoo.
I've been to the Edinburgh Tattoo. I went to the 50th one, and it's now on about 75.
75 this year.
Yeah, I went 25 years ago.
Yeah, so 75 this year because I've got friends and we're going again.
I love the Edinburgh Tattoo. I want to take my kids to it, but when they're old enough to appreciate it.
Yeah. I think you need to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Definitely Edinburgh Tattoo for me, followed secondly by Earl's Court.
Can I ask, the Edinburgh Tattoo, what year did you play at that then? 2001,
2002.
Yeah, and I probably went the year before you did it then.
I joined in 98, so I joined the ministry back end of 97. So by the time I got out of training, we're talking 98. And then I got to the band, and then it traipses through the divisions and the households. So it's not always the same household every year.
Because I've got this CD.
Yeah.
For everybody who wants to know what a CD, if you're in that generation, it's a big round disc.
Sorry.
Got to say it to some people. They probably don't know what a CD is. Turn around and tell people what a cassette tape is. They'll probably look at you going out.
I used to have one of them paper round.
But I've got a double CD at home of the 50th Edinburgh Tattoo, and it's a cracking piece of.
I played some amazing venues, but for me, what nails it with the Edinburgh Tattoo is the pipes and drums.
Oh, do you know, I loved it when I went and they had the Aborigines there as well.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal.
I don't dislike any piece of music, but there's a certain piece of music that I can't, not necessarily stomach, but it's very not potent. It's a very difficult piece for me because what it's aligned with, but it's Auld Lang Syne Last Post.
Yes.
It's very difficult for me because I've buried so many friends to Last Post, but that piece of music set with pipes and drums, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And they play that at Edinburgh Tattoo.
Brilliant. What's the most challenging piece you've played in a band? Again, it doesn't have to be with Harworth, it could be...
No, it's Harworth.
Yeah, what's the most challenging
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
when your sister pulled that out, I just wanted to eat my hat. I was just like, no. As for euphoniums, it's quite a substantial piece.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
Okay. What keeps you coming back to brass banding? What keeps you coming back every week?
My sanity.
Yeah. I think that's
for my
most
PTSD. I need, like I say, I've got a very hectic life with the farm, the cake business.
Yeah.
You know, dogs, kids at uni, another disabled adult in the household. The original reason for me coming back was to secure my PTSD and keep me on a level that, well, I was sane.
Yeah, of course.
So this is my time out. So it's like you going to the pub for a pint.
Yeah.
This is my downtime. Come sit down, have a laugh and a joke because someone's, knocked something over or,
See, this is, for me, this is, when I've had a bad day on a Thursday or anything like that, I come here to get away from it.
Yeah, you can forget.
I just come and enjoy playing the music.
Yeah, because you're engrossed. I mean, we've got some really good music out at the moment. There are times I think, God, I've got to go to bed and play that piece. So we've got some really decent music out at the moment for the concert in April, and you're engrossed in it.
Yeah.
I especially am engrossed in things.
Yeah.
As soon as Claire stops the band, I'm looking down at my pad just to make sure that I've got the right, slide position. And I'm just not thinking about what's going on the farm or anything else.
You're just in the moment.
It's just in the moment, and it's rare for me to have that.
That's good. So last question before our final quick fire round. What advice would you give to someone starting out in brass bands?
So I'm actually tutoring a little girl who is a cornet player. She just picked up a cornet. And the advice I gave to her was that it's something special. It's something unique.
It is, yeah.
I play quite high level sport, Paralympic sport, and we always talk about grassroots.
Yes.
And it's the same with brass banding. We have to work from the bottom, which is the grassroots. And us reviving the junior band is a firm example of that. And I have said to Zoe, when I think she's ready, I'll bring her and I'll come with her because she's got a little bit of anxiety.
Of course.
But grassroots is where it starts. And for anybody who wants to play an instrument or is thinking about it,
yeah,
it is a particular lifestyle that is fascinating, and you create so many friendships through it.
Oh, you do.
That it's worth the sweat, tears,
and everything else that goes with it.
That comes with it. Because it is like music was my get out clause at school. I knew that I got bullied at school for being a musician.
Yeah.
And now I look at half the kids that I was in classes with, and they live on council estates or whatever, or they're living off mummy and daddy's money. But I know in my heart of heart that it makes me stand out. It makes me different.
Good. Right, here we go then. Quick fire round. No thinking too long, okay? Favourite brass instrument other than your own?
Trombone.
March or test piece?
March.
Concert hall or outdoor bandstand?
Concert hall for me.
Practice at home or band rehearsal?
On the youth, it was rehearsal. On the trombone, it's at home.
Okay, good answer. Favourite composer?
Oh, Hans Zimmer.
Oh, nice. Solo or ensemble?
Depends on...
What instrument you play?
No, depends on the band. Not as in our band, as in concert bands, jazz bands.
Okay. Most annoying rehearsal habit?
Talking.
Worst trombone noise you've made so far?
I don't think it was a noise. I think it was me dropping my slide and it clattering on the floor.
Okay, next one. Trombone gliss. Fun or terrifying?
Amazing fun.
It is amazing fun.
Yeah.
Best thing about sitting in the trombone section?
Peace and quiet.
Yeah. Is there a worst thing about sitting in the trombone section?
No, not yet.
Good.
Ask me that one next year.
Ask you next time. Would you ever go back to Euphonium?
Yeah, I probably would, but there'd have to be a genuine reason, like, I don't know, Warren, Warren gets run over or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Tony decides he's not coming or whatever.
Okay. What's more stressful, a big solo or a quiet, exposed entry?
Quite exposed entry, I think.
I've been playing trombone since I was 9, and I would probably still turn around and go, it's the exposed ones that probably make me a bit more nervous.
The ones where you have to put a mute in and you don't know how to put a mute in.
And then it falls out. Yeah, exactly. Okay, last one. Best post-rehearsal snack?
Post-rehearsal? Oh. Well, I do tend to go home and have pate on toast.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Pate on toast, but it has to be chicken liver pate.
Oh, well, there you go. Brilliant. So, Carolyne, thank you so much for joining us on the Harworth Brass podcast. It's been fascinating hearing how you've gone from euphonium to baritone and now into the trombone seat, and how each step has shaped you as a musician. We wish you all the very best with your playing on the trombone and with everything that comes next. And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in to episode 5. Don't forget to subscribe, share and join us next time for more stories from the world of brass banding. Until then, keep playing, keep listening, and we'll see you next time.